Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 4 of the Perspective Podcast. 4 episodes.
And this is why I like that it's real, because I wasn't ready.
Yeah, you weren't ready. Now we're going. Now the podcast is live. Congratulations. Yeah, everyone's watching this now. How is your week been?
It's great.
You all right there?
Yeah.
You seem like you're in the jungle a little bit.
This is Jabron's setup today.
No, it's not. It really isn't. You'll notice that our background has changed, which was Mom's idea. So consequently, you are one with nature now. Enjoy the next 1 hour. How was your week?
How was my week? Honestly,
Planned. Keep sitting.
It's on my head.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
How was your week?
How's my week? My week was, we're not redoing this, right?
No.
Okay, great. My week was surprising.
Okay.
Because I felt emotions.
My week was the same. I felt emotions. It was weird.
Genuine?
Yeah, I didn't know what they were when I started feeling them. And I was like, oh, hello again. It's good to,
That's what I wrote in my
it's good,
journal.
good to see you.
I was like, they're here.
Yeah, they're here. They're back. The emotions are back.
Oh, yeah. So as I started to feel definitely emotions again.
Right.
They are, I think I'm officially, according to my research, out of survival. I'm no longer numb.
Okay.
And I had a very rough day yesterday.
Right.
I couldn't focus. I couldn't do the work I needed to do. I was supposed to record my podcast yesterday, but, all that said and done, it was disturbing. I had a solid 4-minute cry.
Yeah, I remember you told me.
Yeah. And just felt like I got it out.
Yeah.
And then after that, I did a breathing. And as silly as it's going to sound, I think 7 minutes after stopping in my day, having the cry.
7 minutes after what?
7 minutes after getting that cry out.
Yeah.
I felt better.
You felt at peace?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I wasn't avoiding. I was very aware.
Yeah.
There's an uncomfortable feeling. I'm starting to feel something. What am I feeling? I was conscious that I was trying to distract, to numb, to do my work, but I couldn't focus on getting it done. And then I, at some point, just sat on my desk and I asked myself, what am I feeling? I pulled out my journal. I started to journal. I did half a paragraph. That was it. Had a solid, good cry.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. Got it out.
Yeah.
Allow it to pass. And then I felt so much better.
Mm-hmm.
But I also noticed that I was starting to feel a bit angry.
Okay.
That was new. I was feeling sad. I went into a bit of a pity party, maybe for about 20 minutes. And then I quickly remembered my vibrations with Joe Dispenza. No, really, I'm so protective of it.
Yeah.
Then I moved back into the energy I needed to be with. But that, not in a toxic way. Not in a, oh, I'm feeling emotion. I gotta.
Yeah. I gotta feel better right now.
No, it was, okay, we're part of, so whatever I'm rambling, what I'm trying to say is I started to watch video after video after video on how do you heal through heartbreak, how do you overcome separation. I started to see the scientific Andrew Huberman way of dealing with it. I started to see the Mel Robbins perspective, everyone's perspective. And
everyone's what?
Perspective.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then I came down to my perspective.
Well, enlighten us. I'd love to hear your perspective.
My perspective was it's not as easy as people tell you and give you advice if they are not going through it. Because I pulled out Google.
Why are you making so many things? Why are you saying so many things that make sense?
I swear to God, I pulled out Google and I typed into Google.
Yeah.
How do you heal through a separation and heartbreak, not from a normal heartbreak relationship? This is how I talked to Google.
That was your Google search?
Yes, but when the relationship was tumultuous and emotionally abusive. And I got a list of how to heal. I swear to God, I was scrolling through that list going, no,
It just doesn't.
No.
What was it? What were
Absol-
what were some of the techniques it was telling you?
Sit with your feelings and journal it. Go for a run. Go for exercise. Revenge body fitness weight loss.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, no, I'm not.
I'm struggling to go brush my teeth. Yeah.
No, I can brush my teeth.
Okay. No, I mean, I brush my teeth too. All right.
But
Yeah.
how was, all in all, I'm so glad. Let me just say one thing. I'm so glad, Gibran. I rather feel this today
Right.
than have to deal with this in February because I avoided this one today, this one yesterday.
Yeah.
Because whatever will come up in February will be a newer, more embraced version of everything and pain and healing and all of that. But I'm so glad I'm not avoiding. And that being said, I didn't want to meet anyone because you weren't home yesterday.
Yeah.
So I sat in absolute discomfort. I switched from show to show to show on Netflix.
Trying to distract yourself.
Trying to distract until I did find a really good one.
Yeah.
But then I was in a better headspace to watch it. Yeah.
Afterwards.
Yes.
That's so interesting.
How's your week?
I really think that's so interesting. And I think part of me wants to ask you a little bit about attachment styles. Because like you said, something that's been resonating with me recently is there's this hard balance when it comes to feeling emotions from trauma that you've been through. And the hard balance is simply that, do I feel it now so that I don't have to feel it later, but then having to feel the pain now? You know, so on the one hand, you know, you're battling feeling the pain now. You don't want to feel the pain now. And then you're battling knowing I'd rather feel the pain now than feel it in Feb.
Right.
Or feel it in 20 years when I'm sitting with a therapist and she tells me that when I was 16, this happened. And I'm like, what? Because I feel like a lot of people think when they go into therapy that, you know, like everyone is shocked that it has something to do with your childhood. But if you really think about it, if you stop and you think like when you were a kid or if you're still a kid, if there's something traumatic that happened with a parent, with some relationship, key relationship in your life, have you ever healed it? Like, didn't you just continue living?
Right.
So naturally, when you're 25 and you're sitting with a therapist or 45.
Or actually in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because that's your biggest mirror.
That, hey, this all stems from when you were 7. You know, and I think like there's this stigma that like, you know, it always boils down to your childhood, but it really does.
Yeah.
Because I think so much is unhealed. So I've been feeling the same thing, right?
Are you avoiding though, or have you just not had the time to feel, or are you feeling? Which one?
So I was avoiding feeling, and I didn't have the time to feel up until this last week.
Okay.
And then around midweek, I felt. And so now it's kind of a balance between avoiding feeling, knowing that I shouldn't avoid, so pushing myself to feel, but then also not having the time to feel. So in the little pockets, you know, then being like, wait, do I want to feel right now or do I want to have a chilled wind down evening? So kind of just balancing the emotions because I think after like a really long day, because initially what was happening is it would just come and hit me like at points in the day.
But are you balancing the emotions?
I don't think so.
Right.
I think I'm just avoiding and I think I'm just numb. You know, so I think I don't think I'm leaving the numbness. I think I had a moment of emotion.
Okay.
This week.
Okay.
You know, I sat down and I just journaled extensively.
Yeah.
Actually, not very extensively.
Was this the day you were journaling at 5 or 3
at 5 in the morning? Yeah.
Okay.
So I think a way that you can tell you're going through something is I think understanding abnormal behavior. That's one thing I've started to notice.
What do you mean abnormal?
So instead of reaching the point where I'm absolutely destroyed or distraught and in a wreck and then being like, oh, hey, I'm not so okay. I'm kind of trying to learn my own metrics and signs and signals before I have to get there.
Right.
So one of them for me was just absolute insomnia. Like earlier this week, like, you know, I mean, I'm usually in bed by latest midnight, latest.
You mean you're in sofa?
Yeah, I'm knocking out. My brain is in a different realm by some point at midnight.
Yeah.
And earlier this week, which is funny, I had slept 3 hours the night before. So I was assuming I'm going to be absolutely exhausted, only to find myself awake at 5 in the morning. And at about 1, I knew it was going to be a long night. So I literally journaled and kind of let a little bit out. And I feel like because I haven't been journaling, I let out maybe 6% of what needed to come out. But on a day where I would constantly and consecutively journaling, it was like 80%. But because there's so much backlog, it was like 7%. And then I still couldn't sleep. And my head was just running and it was spinning. And eventually I just started listening to some music. And to be honest, I think I really needed to cry, but it just wasn't happening. No, it was frustrating. Like, it just wasn't happening.
You need the right Noah Khan song.
Yeah, no, I was listening to all of them. Okay. Just nothing was happening.
Then come to my playlist.
Yeah.
You'll cry out of the sheer, what the hell are you listening to?
And so that's been my week. And then another metric for me is sugar or unhealthy eating. And about 2 days ago, all of a sudden, it was okay to have a double scoop of ice cream. And I went out for lunch with a family member and I had a pizza.
But you said it straight away.
Yeah, I knew it straight away. I knew it the second we were ordering that this was a metric for me.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm starting to learn myself where 1 is food. The second is insomnia, not being able to sleep.
Is that a first for you?
Yes. It's not. No. It's happened in the past.
Okay.
And I think the third is distance created with relationships. And I don't think it's something I've noticed, but I used to do these like long periods off social media, right? Since I was like 15, I would just like randomly like take 30 days off Instagram or like X or Y or Z. And when I say X, not like Twitter, like as an example. I actually don't have Twitter. Do you have Twitter?
No.
Yeah. But so I would just randomly take time off social media. But that was more like, mindset and like 15-year-old, like listening to these hustle gurus and social media is bad for you. So I just delete it and 30-day challenge and 60-day challenge and all that stuff. Detoxes. And recently, literally right before we started filming this podcast, I just went off like Snapchat.
Again?
No, I'd gone off. Yeah, I went off Snapchat for like 3 months.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he lost our streaks.
Yeah, Instagram for like 3 months. TikTok for like, I would check it maybe once a week. And I didn't notice all these things. And like, I'm so okay living without social media in a sense that's another metric for me. When I kind of have to put a little bit of distance, I think it's because I'm not taking care of myself enough.
Is that because you end up doom scrolling and that's why you get rid of social media?
No.
So why do you get rid of it?
So initially it was because of doom scrolling.
Okay.
Initially I get rid of social media because I'm scrolling and a hustle guru comes up, like Iman Gadzi or like someone, and they're like, social media is so bad for you. You spend so much time doom scrolling. You're losing whatever. Like Alex Hormozy pops up and you get this motivation. So I do the challenge.
Yeah.
Now it's more just like, I need breath. I feel like what's actually happening is I'm not getting enough time for myself.
Yeah.
Or I'm not getting enough time to just breathe. That in my little pockets of free time, I can't just suffocate myself with content.
I love that. Okay.
And so I just naturally started taking a break. And I told all my close friends, you typically, which is actually funny, I would tell my close friends, hey, I'm going to be taking a little bit of time off socials. If you need to reach me, call me, iMessage me or WhatsApp me. But this time, I think there was just so much going on. And I just got so overwhelmed that literally, like 1 minute I was on social media, the next minute, the next time I'm opening Instagram was 6 months later. So,
Facts.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it was just more like, sometimes I tend to feel suffocated. So now I've started to notice if I'm pulling away a little bit, the intervals between talking to my friends is getting longer. I'm starting to crave more crap and I can't sleep. Big metrics for me, and then also physical health. But right now that's kind of, being impeded because I have a flu for the second time in 9 days. I don't know what emotion I'm holding on to that I need to let go of.
Your body's tired.
So I think those are my metrics. And starting to realize those things has helped me catch myself before I kind of hit a bit of a low. And so now I'm recognizing that I need to do something. I'm still not doing anything, which is weird. I'm recognizing I'm going into not such a great place. And I'm still not journaling or going for a walk or listening to music. Like I know the fixes and I'm still not fixing, which is very interesting. I'm kind of letting myself get there while this time just being aware. And I think maybe it's because I just feel like I don't have the energy to kind of cover myself.
Or is it that you also don't know what do I do from here? Because I don't, you know what? I just don't think healing anymore is just journaling and going for a walk and having a good cry and processing. Like I feel like I'm hitting an era where I really want to know, how do we truly heal when we need to?
But I think it's literally like that thing we talked about in the last podcast, right? And that's so interesting that we can record the episode and sometimes we just forget.
Yeah.
But I think what's helped me is also kind of realizing what we talked about, which is like if healing is a mountain, each little accumulative tool is a step on the mountain.
Yeah.
But it's all relevant, right?
Yeah.
So for you, it might be one step, might be a 20K run. You know, one step might be, you know, going on a holiday. One step might be journaling every day.
I think my first step, to be really honest, was realizing I am not in survival.
Yeah.
Because I did not realize until yesterday what survival is, or the impact of your nervous system truly living there for such a long time, being wired to be in survival and no longer being hypervigilant to my environment, no longer being on eggshells. And do you know what I actually realized yesterday? I realized suddenly there was a void. Do you know what my nervous system craved?
Chocolate.
Chaos.
Chaos.
I had created a void, and this 3 to 4 month period created a void inside of me.
I need to tell you about something.
And yesterday when I was sitting, I had an urge to call Mo.
Right.
And I thought, what am I looking for? And I was thinking, closure?
Yeah.
Am I looking for why? Am I looking, what are all these thoughts? What's this pain? Like I was feeling.
Yeah.
And I realized, oh my God, I'm in rehab.
Like that you're in a calm situation.
Detoxing from an addiction where my nervous system is
so used to toxicity
and chaos and would be absorbed with when there was a gap, it would be dealing with chaos. And suddenly there was a void, and there's a beautiful void in my life.
Of peace.
And I realized, oh my Lord, like if I can get through this cycle on my own, I am out of the pattern and cycle of being sucked back into something where the same person that puts you on fire is the same person that puts the blanket on you.
Yeah.
Right? And so there's no more fire, but I am putting the blanket on myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've created a void. I was addicted to the highs and lows of something for a long time.
Yeah.
The same part of my brain that resonates with heroin or cocaine. And suddenly you're not in survival.
Yeah.
And your brain is going, I need a high.
Fix.
And it's a new high.
Yeah. What is the high?
What is the new high? That is the most honest, raw.
That is so interesting.
Purest thing I could say.
But do you think that you now feel a new high? Like, do you think you replace the toxicity with physical activity, a show, journaling, calling a friend? Or do you think like it's something that happens naturally over time? Do you think filling that void is something intentional, or do you think it happens?
So that was part of, like, I spent the entire, I would say, up until now, most of the morning researching.
Okay.
Just scientifically, just from other people that have gone through stuff.
And what did it say?
It was pretty amazing because I couldn't resonate to anything it was giving me.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like advice that was sitting with where I am. A lot of breakup advice was, you must be sitting there blaming yourself for what you did. And I was like, I can't relate. Jay Shetty had an amazing podcast, I think, for people who have been dumped.
Okay.
And I was sitting there thinking, okay, what is the advice for people that have walked away from such a hard situation? I'm not sitting here I'm not taking myself on a guilt trip for doing that.
Yeah. If anything, doing it took strength and courage.
Right. And the other thing I also realized, the small gap gyps, was we haven't been running.
Yeah.
And I can see the side effect.
There's no physical outlet.
And dopamine and, a good serotonin being released.
Because I think, honestly, is whether you realize it or not.
Yeah.
When you get out and you do physical activity, right? When you think about it as energy, frequency, vibration, you're physically letting out stress. You go hit a punching bag. If you go lift a weight, like that is physical movement and you're just releasing energy. But to go back to what you said about the void, I'm going to pivot the conversation. Okay. And this is something I discovered by myself while, again, just paying attention to myself.
Okay.
Because I think one of the most powerful things you can do is literally just pay attention to yourself. Hold a mirror, just look at it. Don't think, don't do anything, just observe. And I think that can help you lead your life a little bit better, catch your mistakes a little bit better by just being brutally honest, whether it's your phone, picking it up, holding the selfie camera, or just looking in a mirror. And to go in a bit of a rabbit hole before I get to my point, there's an Abbott app I have. There's an Abbott app. There's a habit app. That's been happening a lot, by the way. I've been switching like a lot, but there's a habit app, and there's a habit app. No, that word the words feel weird now.
It's like a rabbit app.
There's a habit app that I have, and one of the things I did for a really long time, for maybe a month, was 2 minutes of reflection in the mirror. And I would stand in the mirror, put on a timer, and just look at myself. And either A, reevaluate and be like, okay, whoa, I need to be kinder to this guy. This guy's trying. Like, give him a pat on the back. Or honestly look at myself and be like, wait, I think you're making a mistake here. I think you can handle this better like that. And so it was kind of like a bit of me time. And you really don't realize how long those 2 minutes are. Yeah. It's like holding a 2-minute plank. So that's something I would do. And again, that's just what I'm saying, the power of introspection. That's honestly a really interesting exercise. Try it. Go set a 2-minute timer, look in a mirror, and don't be hard on yourself. Don't be easy on yourself. Just observe.
Yeah.
What comes to mind? Do you know what I mean?
That's very...
And from that observation, you can probably also tell a lot about yourself. From that initial observation, you probably, look at yourself and beat yourself down. And then you need to know, okay, we need to work the other way. Or maybe you're flaring yourself up a bit too much. We just need to take it down a notch.
Or you're distracted.
Yeah.
You get to see how distracted you are.
Yeah. Because you're never looking at you from the outside.
But you know what, Chips? Do you? Because I realize your generation...
I was making a point.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I went down a rabbit hole.
Right. Oh, okay.
The rabbit hab.
So we finished the rabbit hab.
We're done with the Abbott hab.
Abbott hab.
And so the main point I was making is something I noticed through exercises like that was with my fitness. It's the same thing like the void you said. Okay. I was quite chunky. I was 25 kg heavier than I am now. And I was a little rounder, a little more of a double stuff Oreo.
Stop saying that.
I was, though.
I can't be your mom and listen to you put yourself down like that.
I was, though. I was. And what I noticed is throughout this weight loss journey, throughout this body transformation, it has taken incredibly long to the point where sometimes I will literally look at myself and be like, people are doing this in 30 to 60 days, right? 30, 60, 90 days. How? 2 years? And I've made, decent progress. Like, what's happening? And I realized it has nothing to do with fitness. It is completely emotional. Because yes, to be fair, I've not really had a 90-day consistent period of stability.
Yeah.
Where I only have life problems. Like within 90 days, something hectic in life has happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which has kind of thrown things off.
Yeah.
And then with the toxic situation we were going through, we would crave more sugar and need some dopamine. And so that would throw the body transformation off.
Yeah.
But throughout this body transformation, I keep getting really close and then really far.
Yeah.
Really close and really far. And yes, overall my progress looks like this. But I realized that when I get too fit, when I almost reach my goal, right? Like let's say my goal is to have 6 defined abs. When I have 4, I will start to eat again.
You sabotage.
I sabotage myself. And why? Because I only know myself to be the fat kid trying to lose weight.
Ooh, identity.
Yeah. My whole identity since being a kid is the fat kid trying to lose weight. The guy losing weight, the weight loss guy. So when I'm getting to a stage where I'm about to not have any more weight to lose, what do I do? Like, So I start eating again. I start packing on pounds again. And I know one of my best friends who's also a PT is watching this like, Jibs, no, just stick to a calorie deficit, be consistent. But I'm telling you that there's this void now, right?
Yeah.
Of too much success with my body. There's this void of me looking too close to what I want to look like. What do? I need weight to lose. Like that's the void. And so before I wouldn't notice. And so I would just keep eating again. And then I'm confused. Wait, how did I just gain 5 kilos? But then all of a sudden, that's where I work best, And I'm like, oh, I'm going to smash this.
And then you do.
And then I do. So it's kind of now wiring my system to be like, okay, we're not just the weight loss guy. We're the fit guy.
Yeah.
Just fit. So then if I do end up losing all the weight I need to, now I need to put on some muscle. But it was just so, when I realized that, I was like, oh my God, the reason I have been so back, forth, even though, yes, we started here, we ended here, but the reason it couldn't just be, little setbacks, because I'm doing it to myself. As much as it is my situation, it's myself. So I fully feel you when you're saying that your nervous system was just so calm, relaxed, and at peace, but it had been in so much toxicity that it only knows how to function in toxicity, that now there's no toxicity,
What is the new
what is happening?
The new identity?
I feel like I just talked for so long.
But in your talking,
yeah.
I'm trying to nod with you, but in reality, it was so relatable because I went into thinking you need to progressively move into the new identity chapter 2 of not going into sabotage yourself when you have that other 5% left to work. And I realized, oh my God, simultaneously, like I get to have a new identity right now. And there's this amazing guy I've been following on YouTube. I think his name is Carl Lentz.
Okay.
The pastor I told you. Carl Lentz, huge.
Oh, the guy who was in the suit?
Which guy?
The guy who was in the suit and his tie was like...
No. Wait, is it the James Saxton?
Yeah.
The one I was saying to do a tie like him? The divorce guy?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
This is Carl Lentz, the one I was telling our other friend about at dinner. He had this affair, took 4 years to get back on track, got his family back, but huge public figure. His name's Carl Lentz, I think.
Carl Lentz?
Like Lentz.
Oh, Lentz.
Lentz.
Lens, continue, shall we?
But he said something that blew my mind in a podcast this week.
See what I did?
What?
I said, lens, continue.
Down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. We can cut that out, right?
No.
Okay.
It's like a Coach Bennett moment. So he said our cat's choking.
One of our cats are choking right now.
Okay. One of our cats has a fur ball.
Okay. It's okay, right? I feel like a bad person for not rushing over to help it. Hello.
Which one of the 4?
Which one of the 4? I mean, we've got spares.
It's yours.
It is mine.
Yeah.
That's true.
So Carl Lentz said something that really blew my mind, and I had never actually seen life from this perspective. I've always seen life as we have a book, we have our story. When we're done with the chapter, we move on to another chapter.
Okay.
He turned around and said,
that's how I'm seeing it right now.
The book is closed. That book needs to be shelved. You get to have another book, another story, new chapters. And I was like, oh, I love that.
Oh,
it's a new book, not a new chapter.
Oh my God. That makes so much sense.
Right?
That also feels so liberating.
Yes.
It feels like a deep breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
You know, now it's not a chapter's closing and, you're taking some part of the story to move on, because like when you're reading a book and you move from chapter to chapter, you still have to have some information from the,
right.
But here it's just fresh. It can just be fresh.
So new identity.
I actually love that.
New identity, new book,
that
new way
so
of
simple,
dealing with
that's
stuff.
So profound.
And if you think about a new book, if you're starting and you choose that, you know what? I'm signing off on the old book and I have a new book. That means you have a new void. And if you choose to have a new void, you choose to have a new character with a new identity that can approach this brand new chapter of your life. But it's so powerful when you approach a brand new chapter in your life with a whole new perspective on putting to bed certain cycles you were in. And I think it takes explicit honesty to be able to share where you were, how you worked, what you're reaching out for again.
Yeah.
And cutting that and going cold turkey with that.
Do you want to know something interesting? It's piggybacking off that. I used to lie to myself in my journal.
Really?
Yeah. I used to, when I initially started journaling, I would lie to myself.
And say what?
I would think that I would have to be perfect, so I wasn't honest with myself about the issues I was facing.
Okay.
In the sense that when I would journal, and maybe this stemmed from me having to feel like we had to be a perfect family my whole childhood. So now feeling, because I don't know why, this is so weird, but I've always kind of like journaled assuming that someone will read them one day. Like everyone else journals hoping no one will ever read this. I always used to journal assuming someone will read it. So
you're writing a memoir.
I don't know what I was writing, but in that, assuming someone's reading it, I would not be truthful with the problems I'm going through, the issues I'm facing, where I am mentally. And I'm on like my 5th journal now. And I think it was the 3rd one at some point where I was just like, no, I'm just going to write down everything so honestly from now.
Because that's your space to do it.
Exactly. And I took such a deep breath out. So I fully get you, because I think it comes down to this thing again where I would feel like failure is bad. Hello.
Hi, precious.
I would feel like failure is bad.
Yeah.
And so if I had problems, if things weren't going right, if my mental health wasn't great, I was failing. So I would hide that. And then I was just like, no, if I am failing, going through mental health issues and struggling, writing it down or not, I'm still going through that.
Yes.
When I close this book, it's the same.
Yeah.
So I might as well be honest with myself so I can start to see how to fix and rectify it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
As opposed to just hiding.
Right.
When I'm honest, when I can see a problem, I can fix a problem.
I find that fascinating that we hide from ourselves. We hide from our own truth.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder what mask you had to take off to just see yourself with kindness, with grace, with compassion, with love. Because you're just being this teenager and this adult for the first time in your life. I think that's what
it was. I think it was a real mask, which was no mask.
Ooh. What do you mean? Wait.
I think life got so intense that I just realized, whoa, like, this is life. It's not about creating a narrative anymore. This is what it is.
Is it because life's giving you a narrative?
No, I was giving myself my own narrative in my head. And I truly think it's because as a kid, everything always had to be perfect, in the sense that like if you guys were arguing or fighting and a guest walks in the door, best family ever, you know, or huge, big, crazy fights. And then we go on holiday and it's like, okay, like everyone's so happy. Or you'll have a huge fight in the hotel room and then we go out into the car or meet the general manager on the way down.
But I was still a sulker.
Yeah. But like in the sense that according to them, we had to like portray this perfect family.
That was exhausting.
Yeah. In a sense of weirdness, because yeah, like you don't go out, you know, airing your dirty laundry, but it was weirdly perfect.
Yeah.
You know, it wouldn't be like you can meet some couples and like, yeah, they're honest. Like they're not going to tell you exactly what happened, but you can see they're upset with each other. You know, there's a bit of like back and forth.
But I think it's because they're also comfortable.
Exactly.
You know, they're safe.
Yeah.
Like, we had a bit of a tiff. I think our situation was neither of us. Well, first of all, we didn't know there was an issue that had to be dealt with, right? So that made the situation very complicated. And then I think on top of that, I was so fixated on wanting a family. I was so fixated on wanting what I wanted when I was 14 and 15. I
just realized something.
Oh my God, what?
I just realized that you wanted this perfect family so badly that you made it. It was fake, you know? You made one.
No, my nervous system's like, no, I didn't. What?
You made a perfect family.
No, I understand radical accountability, but right now, I'm
in the
just
sense of like, in the sense of just not accepting how broken everything was, it created this sense of the family that you wanted on paper.
That being said, you wanted to talk about attachment styles, but I was the fixer.
Yeah.
As the fixer, as the rescuer, I was the savior. I was the person you put everything together. I'm the person you could come to that has all the answers. So
and
I was
keep trying no matter
regardless.
What.
And so I was playing out that identity. I was playing out a role. And this is why I think knowing your attachment style, it's not a diagnosis, but it's such a deep guide into your wounding and into your core wounds on why you do the things you do, why you attract the people that you do. Because a lot of the things I did stemmed from, I won't be loved, I'm not good enough, I was terrified of being abandoned. So in order to not be abandoned, I will be, do, say, lose myself to not be abandoned. Until you realize one of the most painful things for me last year was recognizing how much of myself I had abandoned, how much of myself I was not present to, how much of myself I did not love, and how much of myself I had to start to fall in love with that felt selfish. Because when you grow up being this perfect, good girl, you're not taught that self-full, as Jessica Broom, anxious attachment healing teaches. You think self-full is selfish.
Yeah.
And putting yourself first is not something you do in society, not something you do as a mom, not something you do as a wife. And just coming back to my core wounds and tending to them so delicately. First with the shock of realizing, I don't rock the boat. And then you live in this yo-yo. The yo-yo for anxiously attached people, the yo-yo is you can settle, lower your standards to have what you want. And yet the other side is your standards are high, you want to grow, and you want to have a beautiful relationship, a committed relationship, a connected relationship. And then you're trying to settle for a lack of connection and look for it in another way.
Yeah.
And then, so you're so torn. I was torn.
Right.
And I can feel that like a painting in me. Like, those paintings where you put color on a piece of paper and then you close it and you open it, you make a butterfly. Right.
Wait, stop.
What?
I was just going to say that you being torn wasn't being torn. It was a cocoon opening. You were transforming. You thinking you're being torn was a transformation between yourself, the perfect one that always had to be perfect, and your real one that was authentically there for yourself. So you weren't being torn.
Yeah.
Your cocoon was ripping apart.
Oh,
right? Like when caterpillars become butterflies, they have to tear open. Right? So that's all that was happening. You weren't losing yourself. You're just finding yourself even more.
Jibran,
you know?
love that.
I'm also trying to think if
Oh my God, I love that.
this was the cat that was choking earlier.
It wasn't. I'm certain it was yours.
Okay, you're right, buddy.
But you see, in that being said, I grew up with a very big anxious attachment wound. You have a tinge of anxious attachment.
But isn't it strange that with the
because we can move.
Yeah, but isn't it strange with the tumultuous environment I've grown up in, I tend to lean more to a secure base.
Because you have a mom that loves you and was attentive to you.
Who is this also?
And you could fall outside and come back in the house and know, but it really makes a difference. 0 to 2 is where it's formed. Like, that's where the child cries and can rest assured their nervous system is taught from that tender age. I can cry, mom will be there. I can fall, caregiver.
Yeah, doesn't have to be
primary, parent will be able to nurture them, love them, make them feel safe, question why are you feeling the way you are. And that's why I told you this week, right? Jibs was never punished. You punished, put in a corner, you're hit, your emotions got tended to.
Yeah.
And I think that's what helped you become more secure, because you also knew, okay, I can be in an environment where I can go feel things, I can feel out of place in school, but I can come back and talk about
So let me ask you a
how
question.
I feel.
So do you think unconditional love from a caregiver to a child is the number one or foundational quality that is necessary for that child to develop a secure attachment style? Do you think it's just literally boils down to unconditional love?
Unconditional love meaning there's communication, there's warmth, there's safety, there's trust. The child has to trust the caregiver or the primary parent to know that whatever happens in my world, I can trust. You will not shake me up. And that's why fearful avoidance grow up with love and fear. That's why they have trust issues, because the same person that loves them is the same person that instills fear in the nervous system.
Right.
That's why they have a hard time in relationships.
Right.
Whereas anxiously attached people grow up with getting love, receiving love, and then love is not taken away. You could have a parent that was busy, went back to work, didn't give you attention in the moment you were seeking it. And so your brain is constantly looking to connect and to hold on to it for life.
Or the other way of being an avoidant and I don't need it.
Right.
I very much had to pick myself up.
Yes.
So right?
And then there is the fourth attachment style that does grow up with trauma, right? They are abused, grow up with alcoholic parents, sexually abused, physically beaten, and they're the dismissive avoidance. They're one of the hardest to have very intimate relationship with.
It takes a lot of work from both sides.
It takes a lot of work to rewire your nervous system.
Sure.
To be able to feel safe. But the most interesting thing I learned in my experience as well is it's taking the spotlight and the focus of trying to get someone else to heal or be something so that you can finally take a breath out. And that's what I spent a lot of time doing. That if this person heals, if this person gets to this place, then I will have the relationship of my dreams. But how can I have the relationship of my dreams
when you're not authentically yourself?
And I don't know how to love myself better.
Where can people go watch Love Better?
On my podcast.
I have another interesting pivot. Okay. Someone messaged us and asked about self-confidence. And while we're talking about attachment styles, to me, what it sounds like is when you're describing yourself, if you were to pause and play that back again, of how you had to completely lose yourself to be a lovable version, right? To me, that sounds like a lack of self-confidence.
Yes.
You don't believe in who you are enough. And that you are enough to be like, I don't need to change. You know, I am me.
Yeah.
And now that's balancing arrogance.
Right.
Because you can also, on the flip side, be like, no, I'm who I am. I'm not changing. And then you end up stuck in your ways
And
with
the
really
whole
bad habits.
It's my trauma did this to me.
Yeah. Like, no, it's also being acceptant. But, you know, just having, so what is self-confidence and how can you develop it? What is self-confidence?
I'm interested in your perspective. I'm interesting.
Okay. So you have self-confidence. Good.
Yeah, I'm interested in your perspective as well. But my experience of self-confidence, I would say it has shocked me, but it's taken me to get to 39 to have self-confidence.
What does that look like though? What is different from 29 to 39?
Being so authentic and comfortable with where I am in my life, how I feel, my flaws, knowing I have to work on them, my self-confidence in understanding I don't have it all put together, my self-confidence in not wanting to be perfect anymore, and self-confidence, I feel only... First of all, I feel self-confidence truly is something you do work on. It's very different to self-love and self-worth.
Wait.
Self-confidence is something you can adapt. You can learn to be more confident.
So you're saying there's a difference between self-confidence, self-love, and?
Tying that down to your self-worth.
Self-worth. But don't they all go hand in hand?
Yes, but you can have some people that are extroverts, avoidance, brilliant at being confident. You can put on a mask for a certain...
self-love.
Right. It doesn't stem from being authentic. It doesn't stem from being real. It doesn't stem from accepting yourself.
Yeah.
My falling in love with myself was accepting myself. And I think in accepting yourself, that's why you don't end up bitter. And you can still create room for other people's pain. You can still create room for why other people do what they do. But what were we learning? Not with toxic empathy.
Yeah.
So for me, self-confidence...
Not losing yourself to understand someone else.
It's understanding someone else with so much empathy, but not at the cost of your role in the empathy for yourself too, right?
That is, that feels like a nail on the head. But...
So self-confidence for me is very different to
self-love and self-healing.
And self-worth.
So if I were to ask you, and if you don't mind me sharing a little bit about this, but
sure.
I will. A couple of years ago, particularly 2 years ago, I think when we were in the midst of this, I would literally tell Mom, oh my God, Mom, you're so beautiful. Mom, you look so gorgeous. And she's like, oh, thank you. Can you pass me the salt? Like, yeah, like, oh my God, Mom, you look stunning. Oh, thanks. Okay, we're late. We need to go.
Yeah.
And she would actively dismiss her own beauty. And I have friends of mine who still do this. I'll literally tell them, like, hey, you look so beautiful. Oh, yeah, how's your day? So in your own journey, why do you think it was so hard to accept your own beauty?
I know.
You.
I know why.
You in the black. Let's go.
Because my validation stemmed from an external source.
Yeah.
I feel so validated right now.
Good, as you should. But has it been hard to change the source of your validation from external to internal?
It was unbelievably simple.
Really?
I was taught by my coach, and it was this simple. He taught me two things. No one will ever understand your pain to the degree that you will need to understand your pain. Number two, no one will ever be able to reassure and validate the levels of pain they have put you through. And you are the only person that will ever be able to sit with that pain as simple as this and go, of course that hurt. Like, of course that's a shitty situation. Of course that's a shitty thing to say. Like, that really hurts. And there was a power in knowing no one can grasp this pain. So I stopped trying to make somebody understand the pain they put me through.
Yeah.
And my CV.
Yeah.
Right? And my justice CV. Yeah. And I started to focus on, I need to be able to just understand I'm hurt. this doesn't sit with my life. This doesn't sit with where I am and what I want for my life. But this hurts. And do you know what was so funny about that journey? How many of us take the time to be able to sit and say something hurts and sit in it without feeling like that's pity? It's not. It's creating first depth and room for yourself so fully that only after you sit with your own pain can you have the ability to understand all truths in a situation.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah, because, that fully, I think you have just cleared up something for me. Because I think for the longest time, I would feel like if I'm feeling, it's a pity party. And there have been times where it's a pity party and I'm in victimhood. But there are other times initially where you're just feeling, you're just kind of going through the emotions. And I would feel guilty for being in pity. And I think you've just had a perspective, you've caused a perspective shift in me where I'm not in pity, I'm in observation. I'm not a victim. I'm just noticing I'm going through emotions. So I think victimhood and pity can stem from going through emotions, spiraling on them, and using them as an excuse. Hello.
We're a family today.
It's a whole family. And then they're about to fight, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then
I'm scared who gets scratched.
Using them as an excuse to, take yourself into a deeper rabbit hole. As opposed to, like we said earlier, just looking in the mirror, being like, oh, I'm just going through a lot. Life just sucks. Like that isn't pity. That's just observation.
It's like pay attention because you guys don't know. One of us could get scratched right now.
At any moment.
And
the dynamic between these two is quite
she's the feistiest cat in the world.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, it's
there we go.
It's starting. All right, everyone deserves love, unconditional love for everyone. We're all safe. Okay, no avoidant.
And if you're listening to the podcast, the cat left and the other one, made
highly
anxious.
Yes. Highly anxious.
No, she's secure.
Is she?
She's feistily secure. She gets what she wants.
But so I was going to ask you, why? I honestly think the part where you're explaining the shift you had to understand the shift you had between taking your validation from external to internal is something more people and more women in particular need to rewind and just listen to again. Just, I think so many people, and I'm going to say people, just don't understand how beautiful they are. Whether it be characteristic and attribute physically. And I guess it's that thing, I don't know what the statistic is, it's like 40 or 60%, and it's like you view yourself 40% more ugly or 60% more ugly than other people do or something like that. So it's just about, I think that is if there's one tool I think people could leave this episode with, it is honestly what you just said. Taking your self-validation from external to internal. I think that is so powerful.
So the question we had was from a mom, and she says that she has 2 teenage boys, and she wants to know how can she help them with their self-confidence and self-esteem because she didn't feel she had any herself. And before I really want to ask you, but before I say that, I really want to say something so important because we have Gen Zs listening as well. And I want to be able to say that the partner you pick, if you're dating them or you choose to marry them, is going to be a direct reflection on the amount of self-love you have for yourself, the amount of growth you're being pivoted into, and your self-esteem. Because a relationship can utterly build you or break you down to find yourself, to be able to build yourself back up. So when you are confused about your self-esteem, I would look at the people in my environment, and then I would look at my internal environment. Who am I choosing to surround myself with? Who am I in a relationship with? Why am I staying? The impact this person is having, the friendships I have, my coworker, my boss. You have the coolest boss if you ever watch this.
But you just made me realize something. The quality of your internal environment will dictate the quality of your external one.
Yes.
If you don't feel you are valid or enough for love,
look
safety,
at the quality
security,
of your relationships.
Yeah, the people you will not only attract but let into your life will do exactly what you would.
Didn't we meet someone for dinner who turned around and said one of the hardest decisions they had to make was to cut out certain people in their life, to recognize that a lot of the stress and things they were feeling wasn't theirs.
Yeah.
It was their external environment. And when they had to cut this out, they suddenly were progressing, creative, flying in their life, doing better. So that's what I would tell the mom. What do you tell her teenagers, or how does she help her kids be or work on their self-esteem?
Okay. I think without putting pressure on the mom, kids, like you said in episode 1, don't do what they're told. They do what they see. And so...
But then I had low self-esteem.
That's what I was just thinking. I saw you with low self-esteem. And do I have high self-esteem?
You have parts of low self-esteem
I
too.
do.
Yes, you do.
I do.
Yeah.
But would you say I'm typically a confident person? Do you think my self-confidence is high?
I think your self-confidence is high, and I also think your self-confidence is authentic because you don't go out to hurt people with your confidence. I think you pull people in very securely with your confidence.
But they're also...
You're grounded.
Right.
And you're also cheeky. You should see Jabron's confidence in the gym, and he's flexing. No. He's two different personas.
That's just because I'm very obnoxious and I'm obsessed with myself.
I like it.
But at the same moment, I also do have a lot of pitfalls of low self-confidence, right? And
yes,
that and I will answer the question you asked me.
Yeah.
But that stems from bullying, I think, from school and in my childhood. And it's something I didn't realize until I met an old childhood friend like 2 years ago. And we met up and he told me, he was like, and he apologized. We went out for lunch. I hadn't seen him in maybe 5 years. And we met up 2 years ago. And, now we're in university and everything. And we went out and he just apologized. And he's like, Jibs, I'm so sorry. I was such an ASS. A couple of other people were such ASSs. And I was just like, what? Because I didn't realize that I had gotten bullied.
Yeah.
And it's not something that ever clicked. It's not something I chose to focus on. And then after our interaction, when I kind of just sat and I thought back on like school, I was like, yeah, I was really bullied a lot, And that's honestly, truthfully, why I don't keep in touch with a lot of people I went to school with, because I feel like I've kind of just moved on from that energy.
Is that why you used to isolate in school, prefer to be in the library?
Yeah, but some of it wasn't even by choice. Yep. Some of it I would try to fit into social situations and I just wasn't accepted. So then I think consequently, then I wonder what happened, because I didn't then go into a pity party of, oh, no one wants to hang out with me and like no one likes me in school. I'm just going to be sad. Like instead I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like if you don't hang out with me, I don't need to hang out with you. I'll go do my own thing. So I think I do have moments of low self-confidence where, for example, it took forever for me to start my social media account, irrespective of the videos I make and how much energy I have on them. It took forever. And initially, when I even used to post on Instagram, oh my God, I think mom wanted to strangle me at one point. Mom, do I post this picture? Do I post that one? Do I take out this one? Do I post this? Like, do you know what I mean?
And then you give him your opinion and he's like, no.
And I'm still overthinking. Yeah. And so it's just like, there's also, I think, a self-confidence journey where I can be so externally self-confident, but maybe my internal self-confidence was low. And it's come so far, to now just be able to click post. Yes. And for me, that's a personal metric that's huge.
Yes.
To just be able to record and post. Like, I know that's so normal for a lot of people, but for me, that was just like, whoa. I didn't record this video last week and I'm still thinking about posting it now. That's a win for me.
Yeah.
But for her 2 kids, when you talk about self-confidence, I honestly think self-confidence is just, and these are very specific words, humbly being unapologetically you, right? Not just being unapologetically you. Being unapologetically you with humility. And what that means is be yourself and don't care what anyone thinks. But be open to the fact that you could be making a mistake and you might have to reevaluate and tweak things that are going on. And so the humility avoids arrogance. but being unapologetic gives you self-confidence. Because it's
My
also
Lord.
about realizing, and it's a little different lessons I've learned throughout the years.
Yeah.
No one cares about you. Like, everyone is I was scrolling on TikTok one day, this video popped up, and it was like, no one cares about you. Everyone cares about what you think about them.
Yeah.
And I was just like, mental clarity.
Yeah.
I don't care about, I care about what you think about me.
Yes.
And so when I stopped caring about what you think about me, life was just so liberating. Because as a kid, I think I had quite self-high confidence. What is up with the words today? As a kid, I think I had quite good self-confidence.
Yes, you did.
In terms of like external metrics, like public speaking, or, the love of extrovertedness, or I wasn't really shy from people.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the metric she's talking about for her 2 kids. But I'm talking about an internal metric. And you only get the external one by fixing the internal one.
Yes.
Because if you think about it, like, hello, she's in my elbow. If you think about it, like 2 pieces of paper.
Right.
Okay. Internal validation, external validation.
Right.
And everything you draw on the internal automatically draws on the external.
Right.
That is, I think, how self-confidence works. Everyone is trying to fix their external self-confidence, how they're perceived with other people, their boundaries with other people, what they will accept and won't accept with other people. But switch to the other page. What boundaries do you have with yourself? What are you willing to accept and not accept with yourself? Because when you start to draw that, it automatically duplicates onto the external.
Right.
So when you fix your internal, when you say, these are the boundaries for myself, this is what I'm not willing to tolerate. This is what I will tolerate. I need to be easier on myself here. I need to be, a certain level of firmness there. It automatically duplicates. And all of a sudden, when I have boundaries of respect myself, you will have boundaries of respect with me without me ever having to set a boundary with you.
Correct.
Do you understand what that, does that make sense?
120%. Because I'm having like aha moments. So I can only imagine the
because
prospective gang is having
the
prospective family that's listening. I hope you guys are having the same
I think it's just like,
epiphanies.
if I respect myself, how could you not respect me? And if you don't respect me, I respect myself too much to worry about keeping you in my life. Yeah. That's okay.
So what is self-confidence to you? How do you grow self-confidence? How do you work on self-confidence as a person, as someone who's been a teenager, you've just turned 21?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think there's multiple approaches. There's literal approaches with practical things you can do, like actual things you can do. And then there's also mindset shift.
So would you tell her kids to go do what you used to do?
So that's what I'm getting into. There's 2 approaches. One is with practical tips. One is with mental shifts. And the practical tips lead to mental shifts, but they're separate.
Okay.
Right? So doing these practical things will have an effect on your mentality and will grow your self-confidence, but you can also grow your self-confidence without having to do these things.
Right. Okay.
For example, one of my best friends and I, we would, for a period of our lives, actively go and put ourselves in uncomfortable situations.
Correct.
We would go to...
And actively put me in uncomfortable situations too, because I was with them.
Yeah. Like, we would just, if we were out and about, we would just go talk to people, meet people. And I say that making it sound easy because I enjoy doing that now. And I think for me, it always was. But for my best friend, he struggled with self-confidence a lot. Yeah, and I miss you and I love you so much, buddy.
Me too.
But for him, it was like so much bigger, And he is probably one of the most self-confident people I know in my life.
And so handsome.
And for him, it was like a little more active. For me, it was a little more passive. But his growth and self-confidence also helped me.
Yes.
Me watching him put himself in uncomfortable situations helped me grow my, self-confidence.
Yeah.
And he would go and actively embarrass himself, actively practice rejection therapy, whether it be romantically or just in society.
Yeah.
Like I remember there was this one TikTok I saw and I taught you the lesson where the next time you're in a coffee shop and you're getting a cup of coffee, out loud, just go, "Hey, can I have a discount?"
And Jibs has done that. Really.
And it's just being okay with being embarrassed enough to have a no.
I wasn't okay with being embarrassed.
But I mean, hey, sometimes you get the discount. It's great, right? But different things. Like once my best friend and I, we went to one of the largest shopping malls in our city.
With towels.
Only wearing towels, like bath towels.
Facts.
And hats. You know?
I have a photo of that. Yeah. I need to look for that and see if I can actually put that up in this episode.
And so it was just, just not caring. So they are the practical aspects of that.
Right.
Literally going out and embarrassing yourself. And I put quotations because you can never embarrass yourself. If you're so unapologetically you don't embarrass yourself.
Yeah.
Because you don't care what other people think. So there are things like that, right? Just going, whether it be if you have low self-confidence with girls, which I don't think is something I really struggled with, but just going and talking to as many girls as possible and just getting as many no's as possible. I know friends who have done that, and it's just put them in a place where, it's not an issue that they have anymore.
But also is really important because when you listen to some of these experts on these podcasts, they talk about how your generation's dwindling on learning what rejection really is.
Yeah.
Because your generation now doesn't really face that much rejection anymore.
Right.
Your generation's on dating apps. Your generation's not really going out there. Your generation is self-pleasing pornography inside, So you're not facing real rejection like boomers faced or some millennials faced in the beginning, where they had to put themselves. You wanted a date, you go out and you get yourself a date. You're not swiping 2 million times. And the thing with that is,
no.
Okay.
All right. Precious.
There we go.
Thank you.
If you're listening, that's the cat.
Yeah. So we entire podcast.
Right. But, it talks about the fact that when you swipe or people swipe past you, you don't deal with rejection because you don't know you got rejected.
I think that's the thing, though. Like you said, my generation deals with the least rejection ever.
Yes.
But my generation also unknowingly experiences the most rejection ever.
How?
Because now, before, like you said, I want a job, I print my CV, put on a nice suit, go sit in front of someone's face, and they say no.
Correct.
I experienced rejection. Now, I put out my CV on LinkedIn. How many people rejected me without me ever knowing?
That's what I just said.
Yeah. So we also, my generation unknowingly goes through more
But you don't rejection. Know you went through that.
That's why I said
it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, but that's why I said unknowingly.
So you just said what I said.
No, you said that.
What did I say? Just I will play it back. What
you said?
Yes.
That my generation goes through less rejection.
Because you don't know that you got rejected.
Yeah.
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 So what did you
Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you.
So I think if you're looking at someone like that, okay, and you're looking at people wanting to be more confident, I think confidence is something you can work on. Confidence is a muscle you can learn how to grow. Public speaking. These are all things you practice. The more you practice, the more you practice confidence, the better you get at it.
Yeah.
I think self-love is falling in love with the truth and the essence of who you are, and then not being afraid to get rejection because you finally accepted who you are.
Yeah.
So whoever walks away from you, whoever falls out with you because you finally know who you are, unapologetically, confidently in love with your tender heart and wanting to align and live your life to your beautiful alignment and your essence, then I feel you start to practice what Gibran said, which is confidence internally, externally.
Yeah. With a huge disclaimer, this is not a pop podcast of I don't need no man and cutting off your friends and you can be a lone wolf. No. Self-confidence is not doing everything alone.
Community.
It's understanding that if you had to, you'd be okay to do it.
Right.
Right? But this is not an advert to go out and start, cutting off toxic friends in your life. Because that's not something I believe in.
Wait. What?
What?
You don't believe in letting toxic people go?
No. I don't believe in, I believe that there's a...
What's toxic then?
I believe that there's a protocol before you reach the cutoff point. And I just think my generation skips a lot of the checkpoints and we just go from the start of the board to pass go and collect 200, I cut you off.
I agree.
You know? And this is something I experienced with a friend extremely recently, where we had a bit of conflict. And 2 years ago, how we dealt with the conflict is very poorly, unskillfully, and we didn't allow ourselves to be open and vulnerable enough to communicate that, hey, we're both feeling this pain because of how much we care about each other. And this time, what I did differently was I communicated. Instead of just making assumptions, I gave the other person the benefit of the doubt. I said, hey, you're going through a lot, X, Y, Z, you know? So I think a lot of people in my generation, at the slightest first bit of conflict, you know, whatever it may be, we put on this tough mask, cut people off. And sometimes you'll cut people off without even talking to them. You know, you won't even give them the benefit of the doubt to hear them out.
Right.
Because there's a difference with cutting people off.
So there's some people you need to have some conversations with and wire back to them.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And there's a difference with cutting people off after repetitive toxic behavior that's not changing.
Yeah.
And cutting people off because they invalidated your feelings, hurt you, but you, I'm sorry to say, didn't have the self-respect, self-confidence, and courage to confront them about it. Give them the benefit of the doubt and see if this is not a relationship that you want to fix. If it's something where, you know, there's this boundary cross and you understand that this is just not behavior you want to tolerate, by all means, go ahead and cut off. But I would say first, there's benefit of the doubt that's necessary, especially if you have a lasting relationship, you know?
Yeah.
You're probably wondering what just happened and why the podcast uninterruptedly cut. And that's because we just finished recording an extra 45 minutes on top of what you just heard. But unfortunately, we hit mute.
I like how he's saying I hit mute.
We hit mute. And the rest of the podcast is done in complete silence. So we are trying to recover it, and hopefully we can. It was my favorite podcast that we have done so far. I think it was absolutely beyond incredible. But that's our first rookie mistake. And that's okay. It's all part of the process of starting a new podcast. So don't sweat it.
I'm completely sweating it.
Don't sweat the small stuff because it's all small stuff.
It's okay. How are we even supposed to end this podcast?
This is how we end it. And the thing is, you know, I was just telling Mom, right, because she's kind of beating herself up. And I was just saying, the reason we started this podcast is because we have so many of these conversations that we were like, hey, we need a platform. So we've had one before, we'll have more to come. But I hope you enjoyed watching what you were able to watch of the podcast so far. I cannot describe how incredible the last 45 minutes were. But thank you so much for watching episode 4 of our podcast. Thank you for coming along this journey from the literal day one of these mistakes. And you can find us on all socials at Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music at the Perspective Podcast GS.
Yes.
We're going to try to recover the rest of the sound, but it has been an absolute pleasure. And we will see you next week. Hopefully for the entirety of the podcast, because now we have learned not to press the little mute button.
I have nothing to give. But energy to end the podcast. I made a mistake and...
Just completely fine.
Yes.
Mom is beating up herself. Mom is beating herself up.
Because we both got off this episode and said, oh my God, that was a banger episode.
It's okay.
Right.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
45 minutes of our podcast got deleted. Oh my God. Whoa, wait. Is the world still spinning?
No.
Are people still living life?
No.
Yeah. It is fine. The cat is back. Life is literally just going on. You don't need to beat yourself up.
Oh,
it is completely okay.
Fam, we have you next week and...
Mom, it's fine.
Yes.
It's a mistake.
It is a mistake.
There you go. Did you press mute on purpose?
No.
There you go.
But anyway, I'm going to try recover this, and thank you for listening to week 4.
And everyone go tell Mom that it's okay, that she muted it. And we will see you at week 5. Bye.